So this is why we're really paying attention to this system. I mean, as a strong Category 3, it could very well strengthen to a Category 4. Rapid intensification is definitely a thing, so we'll be watching for that. But only a few models have been showing that. For now, we're keeping it at a 3 with the National Hurricane Center. So as it makes its way across central Florida, notice that as it exits into the Atlantic, it exits as a Category 1. So that tells you it's really going to pack a punch as it moves through central Florida. So we definitely need to be prepared for that. Let me show you the models here, and we'll get to that. There we go. You see the model consensus, really that what we look for are those tightened bands, right? So you see the majority of the grouping keeping it in and around the Tampa Bay area for landfall, and then across central Florida from there. There are a few outliers there that we see a little bit further south. So that's something that we'll keep in mind, but for the most part, this is really starting to come to us as one of those things that we're really honing in on as far as having some big impacts here in central Florida. And we all know Tampa definitely doesn't need a landfall, especially after what happened with Helene and the devastation there they're still trying to recuperate from. Here's a better look at the satellite and radar. You see plumes of moisture that continue to move into Florida, and those are associated with an area of low pressure that will make its way into central and south Florida by tomorrow going into Monday. The thing is the other area of low pressure, or now what is now Milton, or Tropical Storm Milton, that you see just over the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, kind of just south of Texas right now. That's the area that'll be the secondary area that makes its way in midweek. So looking for ahead to this really quick here. Let me see if I can get this. You see the water vapor imagery showing a good amount of dry air back to our north. So we do have a front, and basically that front is going to make its way into the Cape area by tomorrow night, and then continue further south, reaching, I would say, maybe the Lake Okeechobee area and stalling out. So the first area of low pressure I showed you is going to ride along that. It's going to be very weak, but it is going to help deepen the tropical moisture here in our atmosphere. And then the second the second area that we'll be watching is Tropical Storm Milton, which is, of course, anticipated to continue to strengthen to that major hurricane status, and that is just going to bring even more moisture on top of it. So we already have heavily saturated grounds here in central Florida, so it is definitely likely that we are going to see some big-time flooding here. So this is kind of what to expect for the week ahead. For tomorrow and Monday, what you're going to notice are the rain chances beginning to rise. So we scattered showers and probably a few isolated thunderstorms, turning a little bit more widespread as we head into Monday and even Tuesday. Flood watches will begin tomorrow morning, and they will run all the way through Wednesday night going into Thursday morning. Tropical watches could also be issued for parts of central Florida tomorrow, so we'll be watching for those to be issued. But by Tuesday and Wednesday, I mean, this is going to be the time. Right now, this weekend is the time to prepare, okay? Just get everything that you need to get done completed. Your sandbags, especially if you're in an area prone to flooding. You need to get your last minute supplies kind of together. It's just a great opportunity when you have a forecast that's been good, like today going into tomorrow, which isn't too bad yet, to kind of utilize that time to really get yourself prepared. Plus, it's the start of the work week when the weather really starts to take a turn down, and from there it's only going to get worse going into Tuesday and Wednesday. So I would say use that time wisely. You don't want to find yourself last minute without supplies, or having to go without a lot of things. So Tuesday and Wednesday, numerous bands of heavy rain will start to roll in. So we're going to see these bands a little bit more associated with Milton as it gets closer and closer. The winds are also going to start to pick up a little bit more too. So you can expect those really strong winds to arrive, I would say, Tuesday night going into Wednesday, but we may notice gustier winds throughout the day on Tuesday as well, and then picking up from there as Milton makes landfall. Of course, those winds really packing a punch there and causing quite a bit of damage. By Thursday, we're starting to see gradual clearing but it's still going to be windy. So there is some good news behind Milton, is that we will have area high pressure that is going to settle in behind the front, bringing us some cooler and drier air. So we will see a lot more sunshine, but it's still going to be on the windy side and just a little bit cooler with highs in the lower 80s. So here's a look at that flood watch. You do notice for Flagler, there is a coastal flood advisory that is in place right now that is going to expire tomorrow night. The rest of Central Florida, with the exception of Marion County, are under a flood watch starting tomorrow morning all the way through Thursday morning. So just keep that in mind. This is preparing, this is the National Weather Service basically preparing us to receive quite a bit of rain. That's what's in the forecast. And I mean, on already saturated ground, it's not going to take much for flooding to really happen, especially if you're in one of those areas that we've seen repeated flooding happen in. So here's a better look at the European run. So as we head into tomorrow, notice we start to see a little bit more moisture creeping into Central and even South Florida. That's that weak wave I was telling you about that's going to ride that front as it settles well to our south. So now as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, there's that spinning motion that we all look for. That's going to be Milton. It's going to be strengthening, really picking up some speed. And notice that the bands of moisture begin to roll in on Tuesday, going into Wednesday. That's when the bulk of the activity is really going to impact us. So we're talking about torrential downpours, strong gusty winds, possibly even some severe weather. We can't rule out tornadoes when we do get this type of activity. But notice as we head into Wednesday afternoon, that's when this model kind of places it right around. It's going to catch up in just a minute. It's kind of lagging on me, so bear with me as we wait on this particular model to update here. There we go. So it's going to start to update one more time. I'm afraid if I push it too many times that it's going to fly past all the information I want you to see. And it did. So just know that this is the European run for the rainfall that we can expect all the way through Thursday night, okay? So when we look at these particular models and we head into Thursday, I'm thinking this particular model is actually back down just a little bit. So I'm not thinking that is the accurate what we can expect in terms of accuracy, but we can't completely rule it out. So 2 to 3 inches, but I'm thinking more 4 to 8 inches with isolated areas getting up there near that 10-inch mark. So here's the look at the GFS run. And this particular run still shows streams of moisture building tomorrow as well as Monday, like the other one did. Tuesday, the bands associated with Milton will begin to roll in and really pack a punch in terms of more consistent, widespread downpours. And then as that system gets closer to landfall, of course, all that moisture still wrapping in addition to those really damaging winds that will roll through Central Florida, and then it takes it offshore by Thursday afternoon. So a few models will keep it lingering through Thursday evening, which was the European model, whereas the GFS run is kind of pushing it offshore a little bit earlier. So that will determine how quickly we see high pressure settle in behind that and gradually clear us out. So that's why I said gradual clearing throughout the day on Thursday, even though it's going to stay windy and we're still going to be dealing with quite a bit of strong winds. So the rainfall, the GFS, all the way through Thursday at 8 o'clock. This one is updated as well, kind of taking those numbers back down. Again, the forecast will definitely fluctuate over the next couple of days. So what we're looking at, you'll notice from Palm Coast back toward Gainesville, 5 to 6 inches there, while the rest of Central Florida is looking at 2 to 4 inches, toward almost 5 inches. And that's still in the realm of 4 to 8 inches when you think about it. So, we were going to keep it at that 4 to 8 inch mark for what you can expect, only because a lot of these models are going to continue to change substantially as the system gets closer and more well defined, and then we can really tell you and hone in on those impacts and the timing and of course how much rainfall you can use. Remember, these models are used as guidance. They're not written in stone, and they will change as much as the atmosphere does, which is very fluid and it changes all the time. Looking at our local radar, we have had a few light showers with a few pockets of moderate rainfall this afternoon across Marion County and exiting northern Volusia County along the coast there. Really not too much action tonight, and I'm not anticipating a whole lot of rain for this evening. So as we head into the rest of tonight, maybe a few light rain sprinkles, but that's about it. Starting tomorrow morning, though, we could be dealing with a few little passing showers with light, maybe some moderate rain there building in by noon. So as we roll it to noon, notice there could be some pockets where that rain picks up a little bit more in intensity and lays down some heavier rainfall anywhere along that Volusia County area and along I-4 from Sanford back to the north, going into along 95 going into Flagler County. So as the day goes on, though, notice that it's not a whole bunch of widespread rain just yet. So we're talking scattered showers, maybe a few isolated thunderstorms, people dodging the rain throughout the afternoon. But as we head into the evening hours, we'll see a few more plumes of moisture that will stick with us through late tomorrow night and then continue to build as we head into Monday, Tuesday, definitely even more so on Wednesday. So looking at the coastal hazards this weekend, we're already seeing or continue to see these large swells from Hurricane Kirk. Notice that well out in the Atlantic, there's 23 foot swells, but get closer to home, how it's impacting our East Coast is basically giving us some rough surf, dangerous rip currents. Rip currents are high. I don't recommend getting in the water, and maybe quite possibly some minor beach erosion. You'll notice that along our coastline, it has it around 4 feet or so in terms of the swells, so that the surf is definitely going to be rough out there. It's just not a good look if you're trying to get in the water. I would just enjoy the coastline on the beach, relaxing a little bit before all of this comes into play if you've done all your hurricane prep. So here's the breakdown for your 7-day forecast. You'll notice as we head into tomorrow, 50% coverage of rain building all the way up to 80% midweek. Of course, these numbers could change. It really just is going to depend a lot on all of the model consensus as it comes closer together. As we get closer to this event, of course, more detailed information will continue to come in. But heading in, after Wednesday, going into Thursday, that gradual clearing takes place. And then you'll notice Friday and Saturday, really things kind of shaping up, still on the breezy and even windy side, but rain chances down with highs in the low 80s, and the dew points are going to drop into the 60s, so to be a bit more comfortable. Until then, one more time, I really want you to pay attention to these developments as they happen. The reason why is because they're going to be changing a lot. And we don't want you to have old information. We want you to have the latest information. So there are ways that you can do that. You can follow us on clickorlando.com for all of the developments. Plus, you'll find stories that are really handy there. They're providing you with information like where to get sandbags for free, and kind of giving you an outline on your hurricane prep, stuff like that. The model runs, the latest track advisories, the latest track shifts, all of that. Our team works really hard to put together for you to bring you all the latest developments. Also, we will be on News 6 Plus streaming as well as here on Click Orlando, and we'll be on air doing more frequent updates as we get closer to this event. Then you also what comes in handy for a lot of people that I know who said they really liked it is the News 6 Pinpoint Hurricane app. So just go to your app store. It's free to download and search WKMG News 6 Hurricane app, and it'll populate for you. Download it, and it automatically updates with all the information that you need. So that's what I'm recommending. Use this time wisely to get prepared, folks. I really do believe that this is going to be a big event for us. We'll get more information on potential storm surge for the Gulf Coast coming in over the next day or so, and we'll also be watching for those tropical watches to be issued, tropical storm and hurricane watches to be issued. So please stay up to date with us and just be prepared. This one is definitely going to be a very big, impactful storm. Thanks for joining us.